We all know self-tapes have been a big part of our industry for a little while now, but with the global health pandemic, they've become the only way to be seen. So this is a great time to make sure that you've got this part of the audition process down. Which brings me to my first segment, the 3 pillars of self-taping. The 3 things you need to remember about self-tapes is they need to see you, they need to hear you, and they need to be able to stay focused on your performance. As long as you have those 3 things, your tape will be in consideration. What do they mean by they can see you? I mean, obviously they can see you, but you know that with acting, especially for the camera, subtlety is super important. What goes on behind the eyes, the facial expressions, that's what's going to make your tape be the one that is chosen. So if it's a little too dark and it's hard to make out your expressions, that's going to be a problem. If it's too bright and you're kind of blown out, that is also going to make it difficult to see your great acting. And if you have a lot of shadows on your face, that can be distracting. So what you want to make sure is that you are well lit in a way that makes your face, your expressions, and your eyes as visible as possible. How to make sure they can hear you? Well, if you're self-taping at home, you're most likely using a cell phone. These actually have very good audio. The 2 things you want to watch out for are 1, that the reader is going to be louder than you. They're standing closer to the camera, and a lot of times their volume overtakes the actor. So casting directors always say we want to make sure that your volume and the reader's volume are at least even, or the actor being louder. We want to make sure that you're the focus. The other thing that you want to watch out for is background noise that is very distracting. If the air conditioning is on, if somebody is doing dishes in the other room, if there's a loud truck that's driving by, that could be an impairment on your sound. So you want to make sure you're in a room that is quiet and try to avoid as much background noise as possible. How to make sure they stay focused on you? Well, aside from your stellar acting and awesome performance, you want to make sure there is nothing in your tape that is going to distract them. If you were sitting at home watching 50 tapes of the same scene, you would become a little ADD as well. So if there's something shiny in the corner, it's going to drag my attention away from your performance. So let's talk about backgrounds. You want to make sure that it is a plain background. We don't want to see any books or knickknacks or anything distracting in the background that could take my focus away from your performance. The plainer, the better. When it comes to shadows, we want to make sure that while your lighting is amazing, we don't have any shadows in the background that are going to distract from your performance. And make sure that you don't wear shirts with tiny patterns, because that can make the camera dance in a way that makes it very difficult to focus on your face. And lastly, you want to make sure that there isn't any distracting noises. If there's some background noise, that's one thing. But if I hear a smoke alarm going off in the background, like dee, dee, every 5 seconds, even the best acting in the world will not be helpful to get through that take. So make sure there is nothing going on around you that is going to distract from the awesome work that you are doing. Once you've got your 3 pillars down and we can see, hear, and stay focused on you, the one last thing you want to make sure of is that you thoroughly read the self-taping instructions. Every casting office works in a different system, and it makes a big difference for them if you do the process correctly. So if they ask for a certain frame, if they ask for a certain way for the files to be labeled or the way that they are uploaded, it really makes a great impression for you to follow the instructions, and when you don't, it makes life much harder for them, which is not great for your audition chances. So make sure that you really follow those instructions. If you didn't get any instructions with your self-tape, sometimes that happens. This is the industry standard that you can fall back on when you have no other information. You can do your frame from mid-chest to just above the top of your head. Slate at the end after your scene with your name and your height. And make sure that in the label of the file, you put your full name, the name of the character, and the project. If you did get any sort of instructions from your casting director for this particular audition, follow that. Only listen to that. But if you've got no other information, you can use these tips to make sure that at least you've got all your bases covered. If you like this video, share it with your actor friends and make sure to leave me comments and let me know what other subject you'd like to hear about next.